South Texas, the birthplace of whitetail management. Great Horizon Ranch, McWhorter rifles. This week there's going to be some bloodshed.
McWhorter Custom Rifles presents.
Well, Blondie 765 is driving tax down there. Welcome back, folks. This week, Denise and I are making the long drive down to our good friend Ron Horton's place, Great Horizon Ranch, 13,000 free-range acres of big whitetails. She's got her 765 PRC. I got my 7 PRC. You don't want to miss this.
Precision Hunting TV is brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifles, Hornady Ammunition, Forge Carbon Stocks, Swarovski Optic, and Great Horizon Ranch.
I've been deer hunting since I was 14 years old. I didn't come from a big deer hunting family. Matter of fact, my daddy never even killed a whitetail. But I've loved it ever since I killed my first deer. And when I think of big deer, I think of South Texas. We've hunted many ranches over the years with some good friends and killed some good deer. And Great Horizon is one of the best places I've ever hunted. We're headed down there again this year, and I can't wait to see my good friend Ron Horton at Great Horizon Ranch. Our good friend Ron Horton, the owner of Great Horizon, has been a customer and a friend of ours for nearly 20 years now. The place that he's established down here at Great Horizon is 13,000 acres of free-range whitetail habitat. It is strategically managed for big deer, and boy, do they have them. This ranch is intensively managed. Ron's got a biologist, and they really don't want you to shoot a trophy deer until he's 7.5. South Texas deer, they differ from Midwestern deer. In the Midwest, Illinois, some of the other places that we hunt, 5.5 to 6.5 is usually when a buck reaches most of its potential. In South Texas, that's not the case. Most of the managers that I've talked to, they like for them to get to that 7.5 or older age class, and that's what Ron does on the Great Horizon Ranch. So on this trip right here, I'm shooting a 7 PRC. It's on a Defiance action. Brooks barrel's got a forged carbon. This is our new Peak 2.0 IR stock for integrated rail. Got a complete slide surface on the front, so you're not going to catch on any bags. Trigger Tech trigger, diamond set at about 1 pound. Hawkins mounts and Hawkins bottom metal. And a Swarovski Z5 Plus 3.5 to 18 by 50. So got a custom dial on here. Got my short range numbers written in for 500 feet and 70 degrees, because it's pretty hot down here in the morning is when we're likely to get shots, and I think that's what it's going to be. So I think we're good to go. Shooting 180 grain Hornady ELDMs at about 3,050 feet a second, and it was on perfect when we left. Just going to make sure it's still on as we travel. So on this hunt, my target buck was a really old wide buck. I mean, a buck that, when I say wide, he was probably 26 inches wide. He wasn't regular. He was on the neighbors more than he was on Ron's place, but Ron did have some recent pictures of him, so that's the deer that I started out trying to find. So it's October the 21st, and we weren't really supposed to start hunting down here at Great Horizon until tomorrow, but we got here early and the camera guys got in, got all situated. We went and shot guns, checked them, they were spot on. And so we decided, the weather being as good as it was, we'd go ahead and get in the blind. This cool front's come in. I think it was 100, so it's dropped down to like 97 now. And but we're hunting a 7 or 8 year old deer that they've called Mercer, and he's just big, wide. I think he's a 6x7, but he's a heck of a deer, and it's one that hadn't been real regular, so it might be quite the task to try to get him killed. But it's first afternoon, so maybe it happens today. We'll see. Day one, we set up in the place where this buck had been seen. It's a big open field. It's got a feeder in the middle, and we saw a lot of activity, a couple of management bucks, but no sign of our shooter.
This segment is brought to you by Defiance Machine, makers of precision bolt actions built for performance in hunting, competition, and custom rifle builds. Each action is machined to exacting tolerances and designed for smooth reliability, guaranteed headspace, and seamless integration with your custom build.
Second day, we get in the stand way before daylight, and as the light starts coming up, we start seeing forms all around the feeder. And the morning wears on, we see several bucks, but just not our shooter. And at the brush line in the far back, we see a pretty good buck, and I immediately get on him and get him ranged and ready to shoot. And I see that this is a mature buck. He's not our buck, but he's a really good buck, probably chocolate horn, 165-inch type buck. And my guide there, he doesn't really recognize the buck. The buck doesn't stand around very long, so we didn't end up shooting this buck. As it turns out, this was a buck that was on the shoot list, but that's just the way things happen sometimes. He just didn't stand around long enough for us to make sure that he was a buck that was on the shoot list. And Ron, like I said before, he really manages this ranch tightly, and that's why he's got such big bucks on this property.
Absolutely love hunting South Texas, and especially at Great Horizon Ranch. Our second day out, it's still very hot and the deer are not moving at all. I think we wound up seeing a raccoon at the end of the last hunt that didn't have a tail. It's kind of hard to forget that because he looked so weird, but it was just dead. Third day is starting out the same way as the first 2 days. It's just dead, still hot, nothing's moving. So we go in for lunch at the ranch and we're changing up our game plan. Ronnie had made it over to a different stand and pulled the trail camera card, and lo and behold, there's one of my target bucks, and man is he beautiful. Didn't take me long to finish up some lunch and get back out early. The stand that we're headed out to that afternoon, there's a real tall tower blind and then there's a ground blind up underneath it. And the tower blind is too small for me and Russell and Ronnie to all get in. So Ronnie's sitting down in the ground blind, and I think he's a little nervous that we might, not recognize the right deer. as the light is going down, I look down and there's our target buck that came out underneath us, and he's headed up toward the feeder, but it's not a good angle to take any kind of shot, and he did not stop, not for 1 second.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by McWhorter True Precision Long Range Hunting and Shooting School, Atlas Development Group, Defiance Actions, Leo Photo USA, Brooks Barrels, and Trigger Tech.
That's him. That's him. That's him. At this point, we're losing light fast, and I've got to wait for this buck. I've got to be patient enough for him to get at the right angle where I can take a shot.
Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to talk about first focal plane scopes and second focal plane scopes for hunting.
Yep, for hunting. So I get a lot of questions about this in the shooting school, and it's really easy to explain. So a first focal plane scope, when you dial up on a first focal, or when you increase the magnification on a first focal plane scope, the target and the reticle inside the scope, they both get bigger. With a second focal plane scope, when you increase the magnification, the target gets bigger, but the reticle stays the same. That's really the only big difference in these scopes, right? Is one brings the target and the reticle closer, the other one, the second focal plane scopes, brings the target and the reticle stays the same. The target gets closer, the reticle stays the same.
So the real advantage of a first focal plane scope, the only advantage in my opinion, is stadia lines in the reticle for holding wind maintain their value. Like if they're 1 minute angle, no matter what power change you go to, they're going to be 1 minute angle.
Exactly.
So that's a positive. The negatives are
the negatives are when you dial up. A lot of times your reticle will get so big that if you're shooting at something small at distance, let's say a white-tailed deer, the reticle will actually cover up your target. It'll cover it up.
And in low magnification, it'll get so scant that in low light or in heavy timber, it's very hard to see unless you turn the illumination on. And you know, my thoughts, hunting scope, say I've got one of these scopes here, 18 power scope. Anything under 100 yards, I may turn the power down, but at that point, what does it matter whether my stadia lines are one minute or not? Because I'm not gonna hold wind at 60 yards anyway.
No, I'm not even gonna hold wind at 300 yards with these modern rifles. But you know, my personal preference now that I'm out of the military and I'm hunting is I prefer a second focal plane scope.
For hunting.
For hunting. That's just what I like. The other thing is a second focal plane scope also has one less lens inside of it, so you get a little bit better light transmission rating out of a second focal plane scope. They're touch lighter. You know, that's some of the other advantage of it. But everybody has their opinion on them, but a lot of people don't understand the difference.
Most of the hunting scopes that Swarovski makes are second focal plane. Their sister corporation, Collis, makes some first focal plane scopes. A lot of PRS shooters like to use that. But for hunting, we like the second focal plane Swarovskis. And that's our True Precision Tip of the Week, brought to you by Allan and John and McWhorter Custom Rifles.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by Armageddon Gear, Hawkins Precision, Pittman High Performance Muzzle Loading Bullets, Hell's Canyon Barrels, Boyd Harness Company, Gun Foam, H&W Farms Premium Game Feed, and Mesquite Creek Taxidermy. This segment is brought to you by Atlas Development Group, makers of the finest premium rifle cartridge cases on the market, proudly made in the USA. Our stringent manufacturing process and raw materials yield superior results.
Target buck has shown up. Top hat is on the ground. The last light. Oh my gosh. Whew. Great horizon. We've got a great buck on the ground. Straight down. No step whatsoever.
Dang it, Ronnie. Woo! Yeah. He is beautiful. Thank you, sir. He is gorgeous. Look at that. Well, Top Hat has taken a bow. This is my target deer that they had on trail camera. And Ronnie told me, he said he's gonna surprise you. I feel like he's gonna surprise you when you see him in person. And he absolutely did. We've hunted hard. This was our third evening set, and it's been in the upper 90s, pushing 100 every evening. Thank goodness we had some wind this evening, but this buck came out. I think it was probably the 6th deer that came out, maybe something like that, I don't know. But when he stepped out, it was like, good Lord. McWhorter 765, absolutely love it. This is my first animal with this in Texas, and I couldn't be any happier with this buck. I'm just pumped, absolutely pumped. I never get tired of this, y'all, and this is such a blessing to be able to come out here to wonderful places like this. So the next morning, I'm out looking for a management buck. And lo and behold, an old buck comes out, a 9-point. But I'm questioning whether it's one that is on the list to go or not. And I wound up sending some photos back over to Allan to get his opinion on it. And he said, you need to shoot that buck. So at that point, there was no question, and we just had to wait for him to get in position so I could pull the trigger.
Good job, good job.
All right, well, wrapping up my hunt here at Great Horizon. Came out and sat for looking for a particular call this morning that was easy to recognize, but he showed up at our guide's blind a little ways from here, and we had a bunch of deer out here this morning, and this buck was the bully. Watched a really good fight out here. That was really cool to see, and always good to help out with the management. It's a good deal. Great Horizon, McWhorter custom rifles, and Alex the camera dude this morning. We got it done, straight down to the ground. That's the way I like it.
So we put in 5 hard days looking for this old wide buck. It didn't happen. That's just the way it happens sometimes. Trophy bucks, that's why they're trophy bucks. They don't always do what they're supposed to do. But we had a great hunt. Denise killed her target buck. She killed another great management buck. Great Horizons is one of the best places in South Texas that I know of to chase a trophy buck, and there's always next year.